Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, with me Shell Bhatnagar, and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. But before we go on and talk about the record high levels that you're seeing on the street and what is really driving this momentum higher, there is one stock that has been in news, and that is IREDA. If you've been wondering from morning, the key reason behind this sharp surge, newer record levels that are being made, and the consistent run up, we had the right person to hear you, that you should be hearing from. Mr. Pradeep Kumar Das, the CMD of IREDA, is now with us to talk about the numbers that have been reported by the company and also the vision going forward from here. Warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out. First up, congratulations for the robust set of numbers that we've seen from you. Profit after tax that's climbed above 30% on a year-on-year basis at 384 crores. Revenue that's grown by 32% year-on-year at 1510 odd crore rupees. You have an expansion of NIMs, and you also have seen a substantial increase in the NII front as well. We'll come to all of those specifics and how things are working for you. But first up, I want to understand from you, what are the key contributing factors that you're penciling in this robust growth at, and whether these factors will continue to support this kind of a growth for the rest of FY25, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much. If you want to know one word, that is discipline. Discipline in our appraisal, discipline in our review monitoring of the project, discipline in communication sharing with the borrowers. And one change has happened in this quarter, that one rating agency has further improvised our rating from AA plus to AAA stable, that is by CARE. Prior to that, since 2 years, we had been getting AAA stable rating by other agencies. So as of now, all agencies to whom we have approached, that is CARE, ICRA, India Rating and others, they all are given AAA stable. So that is going to further help us in reducing our borrowing cost when we come next time to the market. Already in a couple of weeks back, when we went to the market, raised for 10 years bonds, and we raised at 7.42 or 43, which was almost 5 to 7 paisa basis points lesser than what the market prevailing market rate. So that is one. And as I said, we believe in fundamentals and qualitative appraisal, qualitative monitoring, and qualitative corporate governance standards in place. Because enhancing the number is simple, but reducing the net NPA and improvising the quality of asset, that becomes difficult unless you have a sustainable best quality corporate governance in place. In addition to the internal process, policy, procedures, realignment on continuous basis, keeping in mind with the market requirement and the project requirement and the borrower's requirement. And last but most important, that the regulator, RBI, their requirement. We went on maintaining a very disciplined way of doing business, which has not only enabled the numbers to grow, but also allowed the quality of assets to be maintained, a reduction of NPA. And last but most important, we have set the benchmark as far as corporate governance standards in the country with respect to banking and non-banking industry is concerned. We are the first agency who has conducted the annual general meeting, reported the quarterly result as well as annual result fastest. And that has become a benchmark in the industry for others. So coming from a very ordinary identity 4 years back to today benchmark in the industry in a very disciplined approach, that is our core strength today.
Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Das. It's a pleasure to host you, sir. Shell Bhatnagar this side. And I'm requesting our team to fire the long-term chart of IREDA for the benefit of our viewers. An IPO at 32 rupees, listing at 50 rupees, and in a span of about 7.5 months, you are at a record high of almost 300 rupees as of today. Mr. Das, this is by any stretch of imagination one of the best performances that the Lal Street and corporate India have seen, backed by a very strong earnings show and of course a very strong lending show. Let's just drill down into your main businesses. You've talked about reduced borrowing costs. Please tell us where within the renewable space, and you look at 10 sectors, where do you experience the maximum growth in demand for loans?
See, if you see our loan book, 27% is coming from solar, 17% coming from wind, 12% coming from hydro, and 3% coming from hybrid solar, wind and solar. So 58% coming from traditional RE. We call it vanilla RE, traditional RE. That means this sector is fairly matured. Fair amount of information sharing is there with respect to the project developer, regulator, and lender. Okay. So therefore, when we do the appraisal, we do not take much time, because since 37 years we are working in this industry, we have seen the sectoral ups and downs, and we have seen what per megawatt unit, per megawatt construction cost of project, as well as per unit of PPA rate, what 10 years back and what is now. Almost it has become 1/10. So, and the risk is almost de-risk the projects. If any lender and developer work in a very disciplined approach, this project will ensure fair amount of guaranteed qualitative assets. Now, in our loan book, we have 18% towards new and emerging, which includes compressed biogas, ethanol, e-mobility, charging infra, etc., which is fairly new since 1.5 years those have emerged. And in the emerging and new area, always there will be risk matrix, and a huge amount of risk we have to take. So therefore, while deciding the interest matrix, we have to load those risk premium into it. And as and when gradually this sector becomes fairly mature, we have to de-risk. And unlike non-fossil fuel, unlike fossil fuel, in non-fossil fuel, particularly in RE, the construction period, particularly if you see traditional RE, is very less. And once the project is constructed, commission, and testing of 6 months to 1 year is done, that means that season is checked, whether it is rainy season, windy season, or sunny season. Once those tests are over, your project conforms to the technical parameters, the project is fairly de-risked. So then only the interest component is the only cost for which the developer or the lender need to work on. And we have systematic interest matrix in place, which differentiates automatically under construction, commission, and post-commissioning of 1 year. So that the developer need not work here and there. Otherwise, what happens typically in non-fossil refinance industry, where you do not have R&M cost much, typically during construction period, your interest will be 1/4 of the total project expenditure. And post-commissioning of testing of 1 year, 75% cost will be the interest cost. So therefore, managing the interest post-commissioning is the job of developer and the lender. And we have been sincerely, sensibly playing this very well since last 4 years, which has enabled us not only to retain our borrower, but also attract new borrower because of our ease of doing business and speed up process. Okay. And earlier we used to have a tagline, energy forever. Now we have added to it, once IREDA, always IREDA. That means if one customer coming to us and borrower coming to us, we'll make all out effort to take proper care so that they did not leave us and look at anybody else. The reason is the demand side is so huge, so that a developer can spend time in constructing the project rather than looking for it.
We understand that background because we spoke at length at the IREDA IPO as well. At that point of time, about 8 months ago, you had 357 borrowers. In terms of numbers, has the borrowing list increased?
Yeah, the number has increased and it will continue to increase. New borrowers are getting added to us. As I said, we are considered most preferred lender in this space.
What's the number, sir?
Exact number that I cannot, I don't recall now, but that is not important. For sure, any major IRE player in the country today, they are our borrower, except one or two corporate house, all are our. And any new player emerging, essentially they are looking at IREDA. Because we being the extended arm of MNRE, we are involved in the pre-policy formulation, post-policy formulation phase with respect to RE policy, RE financing, etc. So all the project nuances or issues and challenges, periodically we do the interaction with our borrowers. Every quarter we conduct a meeting with all our borrowers. Like every quarter, any listed company does investor meet. Like you call us also every quarter to respond to you to so that the investor knows where we stand. Similarly, we do culturally that kind of practice since 4 years that we interact with the borrowers on quarterly basis. We understand from them the challenges and nuances what they are facing, what kind of process realignment they want, policy changes they want, in the larger interest of PDRE development, in keeping in mind broader framework of governance and compliance in place. We have to give priority to our best quality corporate governance.
Got that, Mr. Das. I wanted to also understand from you what exactly are your own internal targets when it comes to the loan book as well as your annual disbursement targets, if you can share with us over the next couple of years. Where are you at? You've been showing a strong over 30% kind of a growth. Where do you see this number growing to?
See, 17 quarters we are growing and quarter on quarter our growth is increasing. We'll ensure that. We have already submitted a broad roadmap by 2030 to become a Maharatna company. We recently became Maharatna. Just before some time we became Schedule A. So one benchmark as a government organization we have, that is Maharatna. And there is no reason why you should not aim or why you should not become, because demand is pretty huge. We have the expertise and we have the disciplined growth approach. That is what is required for NBFC project finance company in place. So we are confident by 2030 will become Maharatna, and all the numbers we have already published that is available in Stock Exchange website and our website also.
Okay. Mr. Das, if we look at how net non-performing assets have gone down to about 0.6% of your overall loan book, is it because your credit growth was very sharp, or have actually some of the non-performing assets turned for the better?
See, March 20, our net NPA was 7.18 and the NPA was around 2,400 crore. That has come down gradually. I'll tell you the gross NPA figure of 22. 24 I said 2,400, 22 it was 1768, 23 1513, 24 1411. Now Q1 this 25 is 1385. So gradually our NPA in quantitative term also getting reduced, and we have sorted out several NPA accounts, and most of the places we have realized our principal and at least simple interest or average cost of borrowing. That means significant portion of our recovery settlement has happened without compromising, without having write-offs. So that speaks our qualitative improvement and NPA management strength in place.
Also,
And we
sir,
are
if you
bring down to net NPA to zero very shortly. Maybe a couple of years down the line or this year, we can go to net NPA zero at least.
okay.
Mr. Das,
Sounds
at
very
this rate-
impractical probably.
Mr. Das, at this rate, if you become a Maharatna and if your net NPA goes down to zero, you will add a zero in your stock price.
Okay, stock price, these are all market perception. So we being a government organization, we are assigned a mandate to work in a disciplined manner and give a disciplined governance. That is what we are trying. Market price may go up, may go down. That is anyway. And fundamentally, we believe that renewable is growing and it is guaranteed to grow. And we are master in renewable energy financing industry. We have the expertise. So there is no reason, unless we ourselves become indisciplined, nobody can stop our.
Okay. Sir, then do tell us your outlook on NII and NIM as well. You know, where do you see the expanded number going to from the current levels where you are at on the NIM front and on NII as well for FY25, FY26, 2 years?
See, Right now, whatever NIM we are having, it is gradually improving. If you see quarter to quarter, it is gradually improving. And once we get 54 EC sanction from Government of India, then our borrowing, average cost of borrowing will further go down. So that will enable sustaining the NIM or further improvising NIM. Second, we have already opened Gift City office, and once it becomes operational, the process is being followed now. Once it becomes operational, certain amount of project we can sanction through that office, where the natural hedging will happen. We'll borrow in forex and lend in forex. Today, we are not able to borrow forex because our borrowing composition, if you see, 84 and 16. 84 is domestic and 16 is forex. 4 years back, or even prior to that, largely it used to happen from forex. 4 years back, it was 57 and 43. 57 was forex. Now, all these overseas agencies, multilateral agencies and developmental agencies, we are not able to use their cheaper fund because of the hedging cost. So that can be addressed through Gift City office. So that will enable us reduction in borrowing cost. So our name is going to be further improvised. But one thing I am clarifying, whatever saving is we are going to do in borrowing cost, we are not going to retain everything with us. We have to pass on fair amount of that also to our lender, because we being the responsible lender, we want the speedy RE development should happen. Quantum growth of the company will support the larger wealth creation for the investor to be.
Mr. Das, at the moment you have only corporate borrowers as a part of your lending mechanism. Is there a possibility that you might fund companies who have EV fleets? For instance, maybe an Ola or an Uber who wants to buy 500 electric vehicles as taxis. Can they approach IREDA for a composite loan? Do you think that day will happen someday?
I'll slightly clarify you. We have already lended in fleet management in EV space 1.5 years back.
Yes.
The cars you see in NCR Delhi, Blue Smart cars, that was financed by us.
Okay.
And when no lender was coming forward, we came forward and done it. In Bangalore and Delhi already, NCR, it is already, and I think it is one of the very good success in EV fleet management as of now. And financing was well recognized by Niti Aayog then, because it was first of its kind when it came to EV financing. We have already done some e-rickshaw financing, but what is our constraint? We cannot go to retail financing. Wherever aggregator mode or some mediator will be there in between, like some small NBFC or some other agencies, microfinance company. Through them, we can go for indirect retailing. Direct retail financing, we are not planning, neither will do. But yes, in aggregator mode, whatever EV financing can happen, that we are quite open and we are doing it.
Okay. Mr. Das, when you do this aggregator financing for EV vehicles, is the cost of finance subsidized for the aggregator? Because I am sure you get a lot of benefits from the government to extend that facility to the aggregator.
First of all, we as a lender, we do not get any benefit. Whatever benefit of scheme like PLI scheme and others, that is developers. As a lender, as on date, IREDA is not having any concession from anybody.
Okay.
Despite working pure 100% green financing. But our request is in very much advanced stage for 54 EC. That will be one of the kind of support we will be getting. And why this support is required? Whenever any industry is in a nascent stage, early stage, then only handholding will be required.
Yeah.
So as a lender, we have nothing to do. If we get some kind of support, then we pass on that to the sector also. See, what is our objective? We have to manage the NIM and we have to minimize the borrowing cost. And to create fair amount of sustainable wealth for our investor. Earlier it was a government of 100%, now it is 75%. But despite that, the kind of growth what we are having, our investor is quite happy and they are quite confident. And by probably this end of this fiscal, we'll be again coming to the market for raising funds, maybe FPO, and we'll be requiring roughly 4 to 5,000 crores of additional equity infusion by this year end. In case if this year end it doesn't happen, but definitely first quarter of next fiscal, we need to augment further equity, because the kind of growth what we have exhibited and what is we have envisaged, that further requires additional equity infusion of 4 to 5,000 crore by year end.
Okay. Uh, at the moment, the President of India holds 75% stake in IREDA. What do you think will be the dilution of equity in terms of percentages to raise 4,000 crores? I think your market cap is at the moment 79,000 crores. So, if we do a equal unitary method, that will be what? 5% dilution.
So let me tell you, today Government of India is holding 75%.
Yes.
When this 75% we went for public, 15 was fresh equity and 10 was OFS. So government dilution was there. So total 25% with the public now. Now our request will be, because continuously we require capital infusion to the company so that we can support 500 gigawatt as a speedy manner. So what we have requested Government of India to allow us a natural dilution of their percentage of holding. Now, what percentage it will be? There will be pure mathematics. There is SEBI guideline, what will be the valuation and what will be our basis, whether we'll go for a public or we'll go for QIP, all time centric. So first priority is to request DIPAM and MNRE to get approval for natural dilution of the government holding, so that we can add 4 to 5,000 crore. And these are all subject to valuation, and who knows by year end what price it would be in the market, and then what will be the average mathematics of SEBI. Because we being the best quality corporate governed company, we will adhere to all compliance and governance norms. That is the mul mantra for us.
Okay, and we wish you all the best, Mr. Das. And yes, we don't know what the price of IREDA would be 6 months from here. If you see the previous 6 months, you've been the best performer as far as the listing of IPOs are concerned. All the good luck to you, and we hope to interact with you in the coming quarters as well. And with this kind of a stunning performance, I'm sure you are enjoying every day of your life as far as being the CMD of such a wonderful company is concerned. I'm just curious, do you have an ESOP in IREDA?
No, actually in government that ESOP concept is not there. We had employee quota of share allocations. Okay. That is, again, SEBI had mandated that maximum 5 lakhs one individual employee can invest in that, and 5% shares were earmarked for the employee quota. But since our employee size is pretty small, hardly today we have 170 employees. So each and every employee was eligible to get invest 5 lakhs. So that was the maximum investment allowed. And our growth is happening continuously since last 4 years, quarter on quarter, and quantitative and qualitatively. And Government of India's parameter for evaluation, continuously we are scoring around 96 marks, 94 marks. This year also will be scoring almost 96 marks. That is what our internal assessment is. And all the rating agencies have already improved from AA stable to AAA stable, AA positive to AAA stable, and Schedule B to Schedule A, and then Mini Ratna to Navaratna. So only one milestone is left, that is Maharatna, that roadmap we have given. So team is quite confident, and our team is little different from other lenders. What, in a sense, we have experienced RE experts who have more than 2.5 decades. We have dozens of that. Then we have mid-level who is having 10 to 15 years, and then rest of employees at least 5 years of experience. So we have youth, middle, and old. That kind of expertise in there. It's very uncommon to any kind of government organization or any kind of non-banking finance company.
Right, sir. Right.
So,
Just very quickly, Mr. Das, how would you react to your critics? There's a brokerage house report that has come in today, I'm sure you would have got to know, which believes that the rally which has come in on IREDA is just liquidity driven, it's not backed by fundamentals. They have predicted almost a 60% downtick from the current levels. How would you react to your critics?
during our roadshow, lot of analysts were there, and lot of analysis was also done. And finally, the price was decided in consultation with the lead managers and others of 32 rupees. And from 32 rupees, it has gone up. Now, and every individual analyst will have their own way of analyzing. We are working in a sector which is fastest growing and brightest sun rising. Because here, the investor is not only looking at economic gain. If you are simple mathematical scale you are analyzing, then maybe I do not know. I don't think I need to react on that. So whenever anybody is investing in a pure play green finance company, they are achieving two things. One, towards the economic gain. Second, towards contributing the sustaining the environment. That is the prime responsibility of every citizen of this country, every citizen of the world, that we need to sustain the environment. So more and more you are investing in equities of pure play green finance company, you are contributing indirectly towards sustaining the environment. So that kind of additional desire or intent of the investor is there. Now, I don't want to comment about the analysts. There will be several analyses, and many analysts will have their own way of doing. And as a government employee, as a government officer, our job is whatever our government has mandated within the broad framework of guidelines, we have to govern the company within that framework. And we have been quite successful, and we will make all out endeavor in sustaining that kind of quality governance in the time to come.
Point very well taken, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Das, for being with us on this very special edition. And we love the confidence and your smile. And perhaps the smile will only grow stronger when we meet you next time, and which will be very soon, right after the budget, and also in your next quarterly earnings. So thank you so much for being with us on this very special show on Business Today Television. And all the very best to you, sir, from Business Today Television for upcoming quarters and a spectacular journey ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, viewers. So that is the man of the moment, IREDA, and there is this confidence that never fades away without anything.
And Sakshi, these are new age PSUs.
Yes.
170 employees, and all of them were given a chance to invest in the company. I don't know how many of them did, but at 32 rupees, they would have had a confirmed allotment of 5 lakh rupees if they had so decided.
Wow.
So 32, 5 lakhs kitna hua? 10,000, 15,000 share they would have got of IREDA, which is now at 296. Intraday high was 308, and Mr. Das very clearly says they are looking to raise equity to the extent of 4,000, 5,000 crore rupees. And if practical markets are any sense, till the time they raise equity, the stock will be, how should I say, strong.
Okay.
And one more thing, at 293 rupees, the price to book is 8.9, compared with Bajaj Finance, which is at 5.7.
Oh.
So, when you write a report on the equity side, you try and keep these basic things in mind, कि भाई ये overvalued है, बहुत ज़्यादा overvalued है, या भगवान भरोसे है. So we don't know, but actually a lot of money is coming in such companies because of ESG regulations globally, which is you invest in green companies and those NBFCs which are financing green companies. So, he's in the right place at the right point of time.
100%. Let's now welcome our guest on the show to decipher for us the move on IREDA post earnings as well as an outlook on the markets. Kush Godasara is now with us, market expert. Kush, you would have, thank you for, having the patience and staying on with us. But you would have heard the management, and I'm sure you would have enjoyed as much as we did, understanding from him, because the sharp rally that we've seen on IREDA and this wide fear that is around that the stock has run up too fast, too sharply, and we do not know whether a fall is there. And this brokerage house report, which is giving a contradicting view as well. How should an average viewer who has the shares, has been riding on the momentum, and those that have been looking for an entry point which they have not got, your own sense?
Yes, good afternoon, and I was very happy to listen to the management because as a disclosure, I'm holding this stock. So I got more confident of holding this stock because in the morning I was planning to book some profit. But I guess I will hold the stock and I will buy on the dips. I think entry level around 265 to 270 is a good entry point, which is technically a good support for 10-day moving average. So I think, yes, I enjoyed, I had patience to listen to them, and I am happy to listen to the management. So definitely it's a good stock to hold, but the fresh entry can be around 265 to 270.
Okay. Sakshi, it's interesting. Again, I'll request the PCR to fire the longest possible chart of IREDA. 32 rupees was the IPO. the first day closing price was 50 rupees. So in terms of just return, you have 18 on 32, right? Because that's the uptick that's happened, and 18 on 32 translates to almost a 56% uptick. And so actually next day stock went from 50 to 60, so that was a 20 percentage point uptick. And at that point of time there was a lot of buzz in the market कि भाई बहुत हो गया,
Yeah.
अब
Oh, yeah.
कुछ ज़्यादा ही and from then on there's been
No looking back.
stopping. So I'm sure you are a very happy man, sir, and all the luck to you. Let's hope at least till the FPO the counter remains super hot. Let's look deeper into the market, Sakshi. Another 100-point uptick on the Nifty. Needless to say, it's a record high. 24,600 very briefly was with the bulls, and 28 minutes left. Let's hope we go beyond that. A bit of a disappointment coming in from IT. Remember, it's the index itself started 400 points higher, and now you actually have a profit booking of 117. So that's a quite swing on the wrong side as far as prices are concerned. Kush, what are you looking at in terms of outperformance? What looks good on the charts?
I think today we have seen a good outperformance from PSU banks. So I believe, Nifty has been a little bit, sideways. Still, we have not breached the Friday high. But I think if private sector bank also support the move, we think we may see a good up move. And I think short covering is coming in Bank of Baroda and Canara Bank. So I believe next 2 days we will see PSU banks and PSU stocks moving on. So I think even BTST call can be generated on Bank Baroda, and also I think PFC, which has been underperforming in a shorter time, can also see some outperformance. So overall theme, I think next 2 days will be focusing on PSU stock and especially on PSU banks.
Okay, got that. Let's also welcome Brijesh Singh on board on the panel discussion. Senior Technical Analyst, Stock Access, is now joining in. Brijesh ji, warm welcome to Business Today Television. Thank you for taking the time out. What looks good at record high levels? Is there anything fresh that has come onto your radar?
So good afternoon, Sakshi. See, overall trend is still looking positive, no doubt. Today we have seen, in the morning IT stocks has been moved up significantly. Now the profit booking has been, but the oil and gas stocks are in the favor. So in that, Castrol in India looks good on the chart. 264 around the stock has been quoting. So for a 2 to 3 trading session, one can go for a buy side with a stop loss of 249 and play for the target of 283 to 285.
Top performers as far as NSE 500 are concerned, Sakshi, in this 15-day period, Castrol has been in the frontline space of maybe 5 or 7 stocks that have done fantastically well, and Mr. Singh is very keen to sort of take that challenge up 5.3% higher today. And if you look at a 1 month kind of a performance, you'll see the stock somewhere about 25-26% higher. Mr. Singh, any view on ONGC? It's the best performing stock on the FNO today, and needless to say, this is also a record high.
So, Sally, as you've been talking about, I still remember when I started my first show, or might be a second show, when you have discussed regarding with Castrol India. So I remember that thing, whenever it is coming, Arey bhai, aap hi ne kaha tha. So now coming to the point of ONGC, as I've said, ONGC oil and gas stocks are looking promising. In that, ONGC or Castrol or GAIL, MGL, Petronet, all are looking good. But as ONGC has been considered, today's session the stock had already made a new 50-week high. Now it's been trading at 322 around. Still, some string has been left on the higher side. If it doesn't break 308 on a downside, so if 308 holds on, then the upside rally can be to the level of 348 to 352 zone. So present rate or any dips towards 316.18, one can go for a buy side in ONGC.
It's been a quiet day on Dalal Street today, Sakshi, although the advanced decline is definitely in favor of the bulls. 1,300 shares in the green compared with 1,000 that are there in the red. We tracked 19 indices for you. I'm really surprised that 18 of them are in the green. Led by, of course, the Nifty PSU Banking Index, which you've mentioned, Brijesh ji and Kush have also talked about. Strong rally in the pharma space, 1.25% higher. Energy, auto, mid caps, FMCG counters, all of them showing a very nice percentage point uptick. In terms of top traded, it's IRFC doing about 3,200 in terms of volumes traded, 3,300 crores now. And in terms of volume buzzers, there are 2 or 3 stocks that I'd like to mark. This is where a lot of movement is happening. Iris Life Sciences, 1,013, 2.8% down, 25 lakh shares have been traded. Tanla Solutions, this is a breakout, 5.2% higher, 1,002, and about 26 times the 5-day average has been traded. Another PSU stock which is absolutely running away, Kush, this one is for you. NLC India, now a record high above 301. What are the charts telling you?
Because after a good moment, such a good momentum, so charts are good and record highs. But I think stock momentum indicator like RSI is entering overbought zone. So definitely we'll see some momentum, but fresh position doesn't have a good risk to reward ratio. So existing position for a short term can be held with the stop loss of 290 on the downside, while target which comes out around 320 on the trend line basis. So definitely looking good for existing traders, but not for a new fresh entry.
Okay, got that. We'll also pull up ONGC now again. 4.8% higher. There is no let up in the kind of momentum that is taking place on ONGC, Brijesh ji. From last week up until now, there's been a consistent rally upwards. Where do you see the stock headed, sir?
So if you see an hourly chart or a daily chart, the rallies of higher tops and higher bottom has been seen, and from a level of 272 to 278, it's been consistently moving up. And the best part is the volumes. The volume are increasing, so do the price is increasing. Now at the level of 322, I feel that if someone wants to go for a buy side, they can go for a buy side. Or if the dips towards 316 to 318, one can take a buy calling in with a stop loss of 307, and then play for the target of 340, 46, 47 till the level of 352. Still, another leg of rally has been left for the upside.
Sakshi, what's interesting is that ONGC has 4.76 crore shares traded, which is 1.8 times 5-day average. And this breakout you're seeing after 10 years. Remember last week when we were closing the show on Thursday or Friday, I had mentioned that this breakout is due at about 311, 312, and that's there right in front of you. And for those who listen with their brain as also with their ears, ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 NFOs in the market on the energy space. बाकी अकलमंद को इशारा काफ़ी है. 2 महीने पहले there was a NFO of a defense fund, and you know what happened to defense stocks. इसके आगे आप खुद समझदार हैं और चौतरफा तेज़ी है energy space में. साक्षी, look at Oil India, look at 2 set of stocks that you are marking, Mahanagar Gas and Indraprasth Gas, and of course there has never been a bad day on RECL and PFC. So keep these in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget NTPC and Coal India also. And if there is, you are very lazy like me, then the best thing to do is to buy CPSC ETF. I'm requesting the PCR to fire that CPSC ETF. Sakshi, I think the maximum percentage weight of that ETF is into PSU energy companies. So that's a single shot that you have to do.
So that is something that everyone will have to keep an eye out on, and we'll focus on the CPSE ETF, which Shell has also highlighted much earlier as well, and we are reiterating it today. The other space that is buzzing is the tire space that we touched upon in the morning as well. Kush, let's come to you. JK Tire, Apollo Tire, Seat, Balkrishna, which of the four or even more you can add is your favorite tire stock?
So looking at the charts, I think I will go with MRF tires. Of course, traders doesn't look at this chart just because of the price of the stock, but setup looks interesting on a daily time frame. If you look at last 3 weeks movement of the charts of MRF, we have consolidated exactly around 200-day average, which is a good long-term support. So I believe indicators like MACD is crossing over zero line, signaling a buy. So all the momentum indicators like RSI and stochastics are looking good. So all the factors, if we combine, MRF is looking good. We can have a stop loss at around 1,28,000 on the downside, which is 5-day average. On the upside, I believe if we sustain about 1,35,000, we may see 145 pretty much soon. So I believe as a F&O trader, we can also look at MRF.
Okay, the price of MRF is upwards of 1,30,000. 1,31,351, 1.2% higher. Okay, for those who may have it, maybe those which are
Sakshi,
in Mumbai.
I'll send you a meme on
Antilla. Maybe those people can listen in. All of those people who are at the Ambani wedding. Yes, this is a stock for them.
Right. So just 1,31,208, 1,500 points higher today. This is the actual amount of BDL stock price, Sakshi, 1,500 rupees. So that's how life is, and that's how unfair life is. Let me just say. And
but on the future lot size is just 5 shares.
So the future launches, you say?
Only lot size is just 5 shares. So
5 shares. सही बात है sir. 5 means 5 तेरा पंजे 85, 8,50,000 का lot है. And Sakshi, one interesting thing about MRF, the management is very clear that they will not split the price, because it's mostly held by institutional investors, and they don't want retail to come in. बस institution में ही holding रहेगी और हर साल. Let me just get some interesting data. This is a stock that hits my heart every day. So let's look at 1 year performance of MRF. MRF 1 year, what is that done? Oh, just 28%. So it's the worst.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Underperforming.
Yes, absolutely. It's the worst performing stock in auto F&O. Just 28% in 1 year. See how life has changed, Brijesh ji. 28% हम लोगों को बुरा लगता है 1 साल में.
5 साल में देखेंगे तो 134% रिटर्न भी है. It all depend कि view क्या है.
Absolutely. Life is completely relative, and we have this wonderful 5-year graph. 5 साल पहले कितना था? 51,970. मेरे ख्याल से साक्षी और किसी और स्टॉक की बात करते हैं, मेरा दिल टूट जाता है जब मैं इसको देखता हूँ. Okay, what's looking good in the markets, ladies and gentlemen, today is of course the entire energy space, and lots and lots of interest coming in pharma, and for all the right reasons. Lots of US FDA checks that have happened on Lupin and on Cipla and so forth. They've not come up with, at least in the public domain, any negative news, and therefore Aurobindo Pharma on the news of the board considering a buyback, 3.4% higher, record high. Biocon 2% higher, doing pretty good. Glenmark record high, crossed 1,408. Lupin 1828, doing pretty well. Brijesh ji, anything in the pharma space which catches your interest on the long side?
Morning I was been watching, not on the pharma exactly, but healthcare. Metropolis looks good on the chart. 2074 around the stock has been quoting. if we look at the 4-hourly chart, still that the pattern is same as what is in the 1 hour as followed in the daily high top high bottom formation, trading about the 20-day simple moving average 2075 around. So if it trades around 2050, one can take a buy call in it with a stop loss of 1950, and then look for the target of 2300 plus. But the time frame to hold would be at least for a 1 week to a 2 week time frame.
Okay, got that. Let's pull up anything that we can look beyond the stocks that we have discussed thus far. What about stocks within the cement, building materials kind of space? Kush, and how are you looking at the momentum there? India Cements is buzzing 3.3% higher. Of course, Ultratech led it in the morning. It's now 2% higher. Andhra Cement, Sri Digvijay, Saurashtra Cement, Ambuja, they're all up and about. You also have the housing ancillaries like, plywood makers. Green Ply is up and about today, 8.7% higher. You have some paint companies that are buzzing in trade, Kansai, AkzoNobel, Somani Ceramics. These are the spaces that are drawing some attention. Your sense?
I believe, Ultratech Cement looks good to me because it has given a breakout out from a downside sloping channel. So today's momentum, I think now we are only left with the 15 minutes. So we are closing about the breakout level, which is a good sign. 11,700 is a good support, which is a 5-day average. So for a short-term trader, one can buy a BTST, or maybe for this week, 11,700 can be a strict stop loss. On the upside, I believe we may touch 12,200 within a short span of time.
Okay, so that's the entire cement space. Brijesh ji, let's understand from you. Are you also looking at infra play, real estate play at this point in time ahead of the budget? Any affordable housing stocks? What is coming onto your radar, sir?
So before that, I'll just conclude with the cement stocks. Two stocks looks good on the cement side also. One is Kesorama Industry, 214 around the stock has been quoting. If someone wants to play for a very short term time frame, one can look out to buy this presented with a stop of 207 and play for the target of 205. Loda looks good right now for a comeback. Microtech developer is been there. On the chart 1464 around the stock has been quoting. So, present rate or any dips towards 1440, one can take a buy call in it with a stop loss of 1330 and play for the target of 1642 to 1650.
Fair point. 319, Sakshi. We have just 11 minutes of trade left, and this week we have the earnings of Infosys, Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank. Brijesh ji, I am coming to you. We also have a holiday on Wednesday, which essentially means that reaction time for traders and investors would be pretty less in the options and futures market. Anything that catches your fancy among these three stocks, Infosys, HDFC Bank and Reliance?
So I'll prefer going with Reliance. Reliance, the stock still, the stream has been left on the higher side. 2,800 around the base was formed, and after that 3,000, 3,030 the base was formed, and then 3,100 another base was formed. So it's making a base and it's been moving up. Now 1,394 around the stock has been trading. So if someone wants to play for a very short term time frame, then one can look out to buy at the present rate or any dips toward 3,170 and keep a stop loss of 3,100 and then play for the target of 3,300 to 3,330.
Okay, and if you look at the early morning chart, Sakshi, I think it's RIL which was showing a lot of long-term strength compared with Infosys and HDFC Bank, and of course this is a very nice explanation that Brijesh has given. Let's look at the NSE mid-cap space. We often don't look at this number, but Maharashtra Bank 5.5% higher at 68.65. If you were with us last week, there was the gentleman Kunal Rambia. He had mentioned 4 PSU banking stocks that would do well. Out of them, Maharashtra Bank clicking it away. IDBI 7% higher, 92 rupees. And you have a very strong move coming into tire stocks, which we've discussed, Apollo and Balkrishna, plus the real estate space marked by Brijeshi, Lodha Developers, better known as Macrotech, 4.65. Taking it away, Sakshi, is Oil India. You know, there was just a stock split 1 week ago, and here is a stock which has just reclaimed everything. I'm requesting the PCR to fire a long term chart. You'll just see the stock adjustment in front of you from 508 rupees to 643. Absolutely one way rally. This is to you, Kush. Any view on Oil India?
I think Oil India, as I mentioned, all PSU stocks are looking good. Oil India is also still looking good. I think, on a Friday we had made a new high. So still we are a little bit below that price. 628 is a good stop loss. I know stop loss risk is a little bit on a higher side, but the momentum in last 3 days have made this range little bit, have widened this range. So if someone who can take some little bit risk can buy it with the stop loss of 628. On the upside, on a weekly charts, I think we are hitting 675 soon.
Okay. Again, please keep it in mind, the NFO of the energy space is open, and this is one of those Sakshi stocks. If I tell you the free float on this one, you'll just say, hey Bhagwan. Now everything is completely explainable. Why is this stock rising at such pace? 323. Any BTST candidate, Brijesh, for you for tomorrow, or STBT even?
Dixon Technology looks good on the chart. 12,690 around the stock has been quoting. So keeping a stop loss of 12,300, one can take a buy call in it. And if I'm not mistaken, the 52-week high would be broken. That is 12,879. I'm looking for 1,300 or 1,100.
Okay, Dixon Technologies chart will come right in front of the PLI king of India in terms of getting those branded ACs, washing machines and fridges for you, ladies and gentlemen. Dixon Technologies 2.26% higher, and needless to say, we'll see a record high. Sakshi.
Absolutely. What else is buzzing is the insurance space. They're coming, stocks are coming back into fore. SBI Life Insurance is up by 3.3%. It's among the top movers on the Nifty today. Within the PSU pack, even LIC is buzzing at 1060 odd levels. Kush, have these insurance space stocks come back on your radar with the recent move that came in last week as well? Some of the stocks are carrying on the momentum today.
Yes, definitely. I think insurance stocks are looking good, but I think one must invest for a long, keeping in mind some longer period, because for a short term they don't have such a great momentum on the volatility side. So ICICI Prudential is a stock which looks attractive. With the stop loss at 630, one can buy for a month or two. On the upside, I believe 720 is on radar for ICICI Prudential. So yes, I'm liking this space, but for short-term investment and not.
Got it. Brijesh ji, PSU banks, I'll come to you for. Indian Overseas Bank is leading the momentum, 7.5% higher. Bank of Maharashtra 5.5% up. Punjab and Sindh Bank 5% up. Canara Bank up 4%. UCO Bank 3.5%. Central Bank 3.5%. All the banks at least up into the green within the space. Which is the stock that you will go with for tomorrow? And where are your top 3 picks placed within the PSU banks?
You're right. All 3 of them are. Okay.
So I'll say, if you talk me about tomorrow, then I'll say Bank of Maharashtra charts looks good, still looking promising, if someone wants to play, keep a stop loss of 64 rupees, play for the target of 74. Even it has a potential to go all the way to 82, but that will be taking time. Indian bank charts look promising. 577 around the stock has been quoting. Volume has been, we have seen the volume breakout followed by the range breakout. The range was 544 on the higher side, followed by 527 on the lower side. So we have seen that range breaking out and it's moving up. 577 around the stock has been quoting for a shorter term time frame. Keep a stop loss of 560. Before the target of 610 to 615. IUB, as you have said, the trendline breakout has been seen, and whereas on the RSI front in the stock, it has already been made the high lows formation, so we can see further upside. 68 around the stock is quoting, so if 65 doesn't break, keep that thing as a stop loss. I feel like the stock again can be retesting the previous month high rate of 75 rupees.
Okay. Sakshi, interesting thing about IOB is that 6 times the 5-day average has been traded, 8 crore 24 lakh shares, and this is where the breakout happens. Let's see the long term chart of IOB, and it will be an interesting thought to go back to home tonight and then look at it the next day. Generally, you know, you see a fresh wave coming in with a strong price breakout, yes, and a strong volume breakout. The most nearest high is 83 rupees, which was seen on 8th of Feb of 2024 and 8th of July. So 7 minus 2, it's a 5-month high for you. Still quite a distance, but the start is very, very promising. So please keep an eye out for IOB for the rest of the week. 328 now. Let's just start wrapping it up. Nifty 24,587, 84 points higher. Nifty Bank 168 points higher, 52,448. For a change, 2 very high beta sectors have taken a rest today, which is railways and defense, and in turn the market has started to favor the PSU banking space. So this is rotation of money and rotation of sectors that is happening within the PSU space. Pharma has come back with a vengeance. You see lots of all-time highs in the NSE 500 from the pharma space, in particular Aurobindo Pharma, Glenmark, Dr. Reddy's, and I believe even Cipla too, if I am not mistaken. And of course, you have all-time highs in Britannia, Trent, HDFC, AMC, and Manappuram Finance. Sakshi.
Okay, got that. Well, Rajesh and Kush, thank you so much. We'll leave you at that. And thanks for staying with us through this special trading session and finding some key ideas for all our viewers. And with that, we'll start wrapping up the show. A minute to go before the markets shut shop for the day. It's a fantastic start to the week, or truncated week at that. But 24,585. On the Nifty. Needless to say, this is a record closing high, 81 points higher. Nifty Bank is closing about 200 points higher, 52,469. 0.4% uptick can be seen. Barring the IT, which is closing softer after that record run, like, you know, the kind of run that we've seen in the last week and, you know, all of till Friday, of course. And the rest of the sectors are all up and about. PSU banks led the show today in the latter half of the trading session. Oil and gas remained at the top right from the morning trade. Media, realty, auto, pharma, these were the other sectors that buzzed in trade. Top movers, ONGC ending 5% higher today at 322 odd levels. Shriram Finance, SBI Life Insurance, State Bank of India, Bajaj Auto, NTPC, Ultratech Cement and Hindalco were the top movers. Top drags today on the Nifty, LTI Mindtree. Grasim, Asian Paints, Tata Steel, Axis Bank and Tech Mahindra. These were the stocks that dragged. F&O big movers, well, we had Alchem Laboratories, ONGC, Abbott India, Canara Bank, Apollo Tyres. These were the top buzzers as far as the F&O movers are concerned. On the downside, you had again Asian Paints, PVR Inox, Cummins India, that was seeing profits being taken off, Berger Paints, LTI Mindtree. These were the stocks that dragged. But PSU stocks again, the entire oil and gas space, power space for you, OMCs, these were the stocks that were definitely buzzing in trade. So that's how the markets have shut shop, 24,583 for you. We'll leave you at that. Thank you so much from both Shell and me. But do stay tuned as action continues on the other side. how would you approach the IT stocks now? HCL Tech has also come out with its earnings. TCS, we saw a good set of numbers and the market's rewarding the stock. About 7% higher the stock went up right after the earnings. But HCL Tech, muted set of numbers coming through. How do you expect the stock to react?
So, it's not about the quarterly numbers. It is this time around in 96.